New Thought Media Network proudly presents The High Vibe Hour. The High Vibe Hour with Reverend Cynthia and Reverend Skip. Fridays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on New Thought Media Network.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the High Vibe Hour with its official Reverend Cynthia, Reverend Julie, and Reverend Skip. It's official. She is one of our co-hosts now. How exciting are we? Hey Red, what's going on?
Hey, I am so excited to play together. This is really fun, and it's also really worthy. Like the kind of things we're talking about. I know we're doing a lot of inner child and shadow stuff today, and it makes a difference. So that's what excites me, is like we're doing stuff, practices, information that make a real and meaningful difference. So that's everything I love right here.
You know, you're hitting it right on the head on the nail, or the nail on the head. What is it? You're hitting it, because I was thinking today as I'm watching the news. It's in the house, and I don't normally watch the news, but I'm in my mom's house and it's on, and it's a little background, and I'm going all the divine craziness that's happening right now. This work is so important to really balance the energy. So I love what you just said.
Yes. I can't wait to dive in.
This
I'm
is
so grateful. Welcome to everybody tuning in, showing up. I can't wait to play together. This is good stuff right here.
This is really good stuff. So have you done, and we're just getting people to know us, have you done anything like this before with any other iteration? I know you've done some work where you facilitated panels before, but what has been your movement into this online show stuff that we do?
So I did a lot of online lives during the pandemic, for sure. And then I teach through Agape University, so I'm grateful for that. Welcome, Hazel. Nice to have you here. So I did, and also through the Agape International Spiritual Center, founded and directed by Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. I did a lot of live prayer and meditation for years. And so that was really a fun thing to be with, people all around the world praying together and meditating together. So I've been up and on, doing lives for quite a while now. And I love it because you can be together with people like it used to be, right? It used to have to be in a little room or a big room somewhere or an auditorium. And now we can connect with folks all around the world.
So we always ask, we always start our show is, we know life is lifing, but how are you raising the vibe? Now, what's going on with you this week?
Oh, so my son is getting ready to compete in a downhill mountain biking race on Sunday. And this has been a real growth edge for me, because I made a comment to him a couple of days ago about something about like wanting him to be really safe and, have a great time. And he said that's not helpful. And so the whole safe part. And so I've been really sitting with that, like, where does my fear impact, the people around me? And mostly it's my child. He's kind of like a blind spot for me, because I'm able to really know truth and know that our lives are for us and never against us and all that. But when it comes to that person that lived inside of me that's now out and I can't wear in a baby Bjorn anymore, and so I really had to go deeply into like practicing what I say I believe, which is his life is for him. And if there is something in him rising that wants to race down a mountain, then how can I show up for him in a way that is wise, discerning, supportive, but mostly trusting that his life is for him? So that's kind of the arc that I'm on right now, because I notice how I could be really led by fear or the things that concern me. And so I'm really anchoring into my spiritual practice. And mostly what that looks like for me right now is, as I did with you, reaching out to my friends. Hi, Denise, welcome. So I'm anchoring into my friends. I have all these different groups that are praying, just knowing, and it's not fear-based prayer, knowing that he takes flight and that his purpose and passion are unleashed. And so that's what I would, that's what I'm doing. That's what I invite anybody listening right now is where can we lean more into trust and faith? And when
Mm,
you're on wobbly legs, thank
yeah,
you for showing up, because this is a great place for that, like lean into community, right?
yeah, yeah. That's definitely lifting the vibration. So awesome.
Yes. How about you? What's going
Well,
on with you?
what has been going on with me? And I shared last week, my mother, she experienced, and I stopped using that word suffer because she's not suffering, but she experienced a stroke that came through her and it went through her and now it's passing through and she's in a place of recovering. So prayers work. So I flew home on Monday. Or I flew home Sunday night after I spoke on Sunday. Flew home Monday, got here, and it's really been really about remembering gratitude. And
Mm,
at the moment I get a chance to recognize gratitude, speak a word of gratitude. That has been how I've been uplifting my vibration and really staying close to family and recognizing family as being a huge source of comfort. So we've all had to work together. She now has three different nurses that come, actually four, that comes through to make sure that she's being taken care of. Thank you, God, for the ability of our nurses that are here. It's so amazing to get to know them and to be a part of. They're now a part of our family. I am so grateful for that.
mm,
And the other thing I did that was a little bit of kind of shook me today. I had to shift my beneficiaries for my IRA, my 401k, my will. I had to shift my will because everything was going to my mother. And now, that we're moving into a different chapter, I need to shift it over to my brother and my best friend Bill and did all the work there.
wow.
And in that moment, I realized that, oh, wait a minute, I can really go through the fear of of death or the transition, or be grateful that I have the sense and the wherewithal to create a space where when it happens, because it is going to happen, that I'm creating a space for other people to thrive and also to not leave a burden on someone. And I left portions of this to the community I work for, North Hollywood Church of Religious Science. So I'm able to donate even after I make that transition. And that really lifted my vibration as well.
Wow. Wow. That's so powerful. And I love how with everything you're moving through, you started with gratitude. I think
Absolutely.
that I think that could be a really sweet place for those listening, like right from the get-go, to take a moment. And even if, especially if stuff is going on that you don't like, to begin with gratitude right now. What can you be grateful for? And I like saying fountain up. So I would invite you in this moment,
Mm,
including myself, to just take a moment and think of everything you're grateful for as you're listening in, that you have technology, that you can listen into something that is literally a high vibe. It is literally here to raise our frequency. We attract at the level of our energetic frequency. So simply by tuning in to a heightened frequency, you will begin to attract people, places, circumstances, and events that are oscillating at that higher frequency. So grateful for that, grateful for air, grateful for water, like just to
yeah.
invite you to flood your nervous system, to flood yourselves with everything you're grateful for. And from this launching pad of gratitude,
Mm,
you know, you tuned in for a reason today. Set an intention. What do you want? What do you
yeah.
want? And then the request, the challenge is be on a hunt for it, because we
Hey,
find what we look for. So to set right from the get go, like, what do you want? Right.
I love
And
what you're
then be on a hunt
saying.
for it.
I love what you're speaking. We really haven't done this, but I'm going to do it right now because you spoke into existence. So if you're online, there are people that are watching it right now or later on in the feed. I want you to drop in. What are you grateful for today? Drop in some gratitude because the law of gratitude
Yeah.
says that when we are grateful and we share our gratitude, expands and the universe gives us more to be grateful for. So let's drop some gratitude right into the field. You just gave me some beautiful things to be grateful for. I'm grateful to be here at home. I'm grateful that we're online right now. I'm grateful for it's a beautiful day. It's a little warm on the East Coast, but it's pretty beautiful, beautiful day. And I'm breathing and I am just enjoying life. And we always ask you, please join the conversation. Feel free to drop some shares into the chat, drop your gratitude. And before we drop in today's topic, shout out to Reverend Cynthia. She will be back with us in 2 weeks. And this is the big announcement. I want you to mark your calendars. August 8th is our new relaunch of the High Vibe Hour. We're going to be on kind of a hiatus for 2 weeks. We're going to be traveling, but we're going to be doing replaying here at the New Thought Media Network. And we're coming back August 8th live with the three of us. Listen, I'm so excited. I am so excited.
Yeah, this is answered prayer. I'm really, my intention is very much to share skills that work, tools and practices that work, and to be able to come together with the three of us and all our backgrounds and expertise and just really go for it in transformation and healing and nurturance and goal setting and accomplishing. I love all of this. I'm so on board with all of this. And I'm grateful for everybody that's with us right now.
Yeah, welcome, y'all. So today we're talking about the inner child, and this is a segment we drop into what we call the True Talk. And True Talk is just having an authentic conversation, and maybe you might have heard this before. Maybe this is the first time you've ever heard it before, or maybe you're willing to have this journey with us. We're talking about inner child work and shadow work today, and this is that area in our life that I believe that I personally I've gotten so much of I want to say spiritual evolution. Can I say that, Rev? A spiritual evolution to drop into what was really the root of a lot of my dis-ease. How has this work for you, inner child work, have you benefited from, and what has it served you? How has it served you? Oh, before we do that, Rev, tell them what it is. What is inner child work? What are we doing?
You know what? Before I started speaking professionally, I had a private one-on-one counseling session for years. And what I realized is no matter what our age, no matter how accomplished we are, there's still like the little boy, the little girl, the little person inside. And whatever was needed but was not received, or was not perceived to be received, it never goes away. But the good news is we are able to give ourselves what we needed but did not get, no matter how old we are. And so this inner child work for me is taking the time to really hear, what does that little part of me need, what, and how can I support that part right now? And I'll give you an example. This was like a game-changing experience for me, because I've always been drawn to everything shamanic and mysticism and all the rich, juicy stuff. And I wished so much that I had like, that I'd been raised in the wild by, barefoot people that were picking barks and berries and brewing up things and healing. Like that's all in my bones, like I feel like, and I wanted that. And I wanted to feel the wise ones and the ancestors and, the mystics. I wanted to feel like I was raised by that. And I have a lovely family. I just feel like there's something more that wasn't tapped into. And so I remember doing a birth redo. I did a redo on my birth. Okay. And I went into a deeply relaxed state. And I imagined, and if for those of you that are interested, we'll have an opportunity to do this together. I imagined receiving everything that I really wanted when I was first brought into this life. And so I imagined that from the moment, it always bothered me that when I was born, I was taken and put into another room with a heat lamp on. And I just felt like that is not what my nervous system needed, So I did a redo. And I imagined that the reason why I was taken into that other space with the heat lamp on my body is because my spirit council needed to do some activations. And so I imagined my whole council, all the wise ones, all the sages, all the mystics gathered around me, those from this lifetime, those from other lifetimes. So, I would have Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, who's one of my mentors and dear friends now. I would have all the people and shaman and witches and, wise ones and the council, like angels all around me. And I would imagine at Agape, we say we extend our hearts through our hands. I
Yes.
imagine them all with their hands, wings outstretched towards me and receiving energetically everything I needed, all the activations to be fully realized within this lifetime. And I did that practice in such a full sensory way because thought plus emotion equals creation. Our thoughts juiced up with emotion, strong feeling tone. So I really let myself have that moment. In shamanism, we call it gathering around the fire. I imagined that I was gathered around the fire by all these wise, wise people. And that was what that whole birth experience was. And I have to tell you, even though I made it up, it matters. And I can't tell you how often I have that feeling of like being a badass, like that I came in locked, loaded, ready to go because my crew was with me and they like leveled me up on the biggest way.
Oh my
So that's,
goodness.
yeah.
Well, and I want to ask you a question because I love the beginning of your book, and you're very honest about your childhood. You're very honest in your book, and you say there was a point in your childhood that you just didn't want to live. Hey, you had like you took children's aspirin, and you waited on the bed to make the
Oh,
transition.
yeah,
It
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
happen. How much of that was requalified and reshifted in the beginning work you did, the work that you did?
That's such a great question. And I think that probably a lot of the people that are drawn to a show like this can relate to it.
Mhm.
For me, I am so empathetic. I feel people's feelings. I feel people's thoughts. I
Yeah.
feel like a live wire out in the world a lot, which I think caters to me wanting to really cave up because when I'm out, I feel so much. And so early on as a child, I found the world like hard to navigate because I was so aware of all the undercurrents. People would say things, adults would say things, but then I would feel what was real. And,
Mm.
and I think I just found it like this is too activating in a negative way for me, and I wanted out. And I took a bottle of St. Joseph's baby aspirin. I wrote a suicide note. I laid down on my bed and I just waited for
Yes.
something. I waited to die. And literally, I don't know how much time passed, but I could hear my mom calling out that it was dinner time, and I popped up and went to dinner. But your
Yeah.
question, I've never thought about, but I love it so much. How much did redoing my birth experience requalify that moment? And I would say that when you do this, it requalifies everything. So if we have the
Everything.
time and we go through this practice, what happens is even that moment now would be requalified because in the moment of wanting to be done with life, that counsel would be there saying, oh no, beloved, I get that this is painful. I get that it's challenging. And as you're listening in right now, whatever it is you're moving through, I get that it can be a lot sometimes. We really do.
Yeah.
And beloved, you are here on purpose with a purpose. So how do you lean in now to a counsel? And if you think you don't have one, that is a mistake.
Mm.
Everybody comes in with support. It's about cultivating that support. And it can be a practice just at night before you go to sleep. That's when the subconscious mind is the most available to us. Just ask, like,
Yeah.
I'm calling in that support. Like, you are on deck. I need you. I need that guidance. Yeah.
The inner child work is, and there's another form of it. It's not exactly the same, but it gives you more information that you need. Has been shadow work, and I've been doing a lot of shadow work with clients and going through my own certification so I can really tap into it. And then the shadow work for me gave me a reason because the reason of everything for me for my dis-ease that I experience is always my thinking that I'm separate from the divine.
Right.
And that comes up with other things like not good enough. I can never ever be, or I can never ever have. And I can remember now going deep into the shadow work of realizing, oh, this is when I first began to realize, or I thought that I was not good enough, that I wasn't as good as maybe my brother, or wasn't as good as the person next to me. And I can really identify those moments where it began to develop, and it gave me a something to take so I can deal with the root of it, so I can really, not saying that doesn't come up anymore, but these not good enough moments are less and less, and I don't spend so much time in the spiral of it. But there are
Yes.
moments I can remember of when I was a very young kid, and I'm here at my mom's house, and it came up again, and I felt a little charge around it, and I get to deal with it. When I was in second grade, I was caught cheating on a test, and my mother, being a school teacher, she came down out of her class, came down to the second grade, and she gave me a beating in front of the whole entire class. And in that moment, I began to feel I could never ever be good enough in the eyes of my family. And it's very interesting, which again, that's my own thinking, that is only my own invitation for healing. But it gave me a sense of peace and calm to know where these thoughts came from.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm really appreciating right now, like you have this week that you're at home. And so, what are the practices? What are the things that you can do to reframe that old belief or decision that got established in second grade? And this is extraordinary how we really, like these big moments, they stay locked in until we come up with a new belief or a new decision. So,
That's right.
like, what's the new belief,
It,
Skip?
it,
What's the
it's
new
been well.
decision?
It's been a lot of healing and self forgiveness, not for my mother. In fact, I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful, and part of this has been to heal that sense of separation, heal that sense of not good enough. To understand is I've always been good enough, and I can speak to that little boy and say, little Skip, God loves you. Little Skip, you're going to be okay. Little Skip, you're going to end up writing 4 books, another book on the way. Little Skip, you're going to create retreats with Reverend Julie. You're going to create retreats, take people to Bali twice. Little
Mm,
Skip, you're going to do phenomenal, amazing things. And it's really speaking to that child that felt that for the very first time. And then going through the journey. Oh, I remember feeling it here. I remember feeling here. Oh, I blessed that time. Thank you for showing me. Oh, I remember feeling here. I remember when I act out here. So it's a long journey of forgiveness. And it's
hmm.
always self-forgiveness. This is the whole point, I think, of the shadow work for me, has always been self-forgiveness and not blaming, not victimhood.
Hmm. I feel like it's also, so there's forgiveness work that's there, and there's also with the inner child work, listening. Dr.
Mm,
Dan Siegel says felt feelings flow on. So when you take the time, as you have done, to acknowledge, like, oh wow, all these years later, like that feeling from second grade popped up, and to take the time to acknowledge that part of ourselves that's still carrying it. And then part of the work that I do is I'll speak with that part and say, like, oh wow, you're feeling some insecurity, or you're feeling some jealousy, or you're feeling some anger or resentment or whatever. And I start to talk with that little part of me and say, what do you need right now? I always thank that part, because I know you're showing up for a reason. You're coming to protect me or to make sure I'm okay. And I ask that part of myself, what do you need now? And then, like we did this process a couple days ago, I would do like a negotiation with the part of me that might be having old thoughts or beliefs or decisions. And I find out what that aspect of me needs so that it can be free. Because that's really what inner child work is about. It's about establishing freedom. And anytime I'm locked in with old beliefs, limiting decisions, anything that does not serve my glory, I'm
mm,
restricting. And so this is about freedom. And
yeah.
that's what I believe this whole hour is about. Like, how can we unleash more freedom in ourselves, in our body, and in the things that we attract and the people and the places and the opportunities.
Ram Dass, I listen to Ram Dass Here Now. I love that podcast every week.
Yeah.
It's just us, these teachings. And Ram Dass said, someone said, what is the ego? They asked a question, and Ram Dass said, the ego is that part of your spirit that requires to be loved. And I equate that to that part of that inner child that doesn't feel love. And my inner child or my ego, part of that needs to be loved, I call little Skip. And little Skip has a tendency to chatter. It's like, little Skip, you're not good enough. Remember when you did that? And remember when you were a kid? And and I turn to little Skip. I say, little Skip, I hear you. I love you. And right now I'm going to have a conversation with God. Or right now I'm going to have a conversation with my higher self. But hey, I get you, and I'm going to come back to you in a moment. I'm going to love you. It's something really healing about speaking to the ego. Speaking to a part of you that feels so unloved. It is so empowering.
And when it doesn't feel heard, it's agitated and it acts out. And when it is heard and acknowledged, it can relax. And that's when we can gain access to an executive brain state, a clear thinking brain state, a solution and creativity oriented brain state. But as long as that kind of survival reactivity is up, we don't have access to what are the solutions here? What are the options here? So paying attention with kindness. And then I like how you were saying and redirecting, like, I'm listening to spirit. Like that's who's running the ship here.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Part of this work, which I love, it's just not one and done. It especially the inner child and the shadow work and working with the ego, it's not a one and done thing. It is absolutely ongoing. How, and it's very interesting because I always want to ask people like Michael Bernard Beckwith or someone, Deepak Chopra or someone, do you still have to do that type of work? And I'm sure I get to continue to ask, what is that thing that we got to do to continue to do that work when that work is calling forth? I want to say, I think of my teachers, my mentors. Are you still dealing with this type of work of your inner child and of your? What do you think about that?
I think so. I think we learn tools and practices, and we can kind of move through oftentimes more quickly. Like I have the tools and practices now, but I think all of us have our blind spots. Like raising a teenage son is the part that really like puts my practice to the test now, and that's why I lean into community. Community is so important for me with that aspect. But I think I'm thinking through now because I've had the luxury of being backstage and behind the scenes with lots of very well-known people, and I would say everybody has stuff. Like I think to the one, we're all still working through things. I think that as we gain tools and skills, maybe we can move through with a little more grace. I feel like I move through things with more grace now.
That's so powerful. So powerful. So, Red, what we're going to do, we're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to pay some bills here at the New Thought Media Network. Awesome. And then we're going to come back. We're going to do some practices. You have a practice. I have a practice. We're going to take our listeners through. So, y'all, please don't go anywhere. Hang out with us. You're here at the New Thought Media Network. We are the High Vibe Hour. We're here with Reverend Julie and Reverend Skip. We'll see you in a bit. Peace.
What would Louise say? Join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Hosted by Reverend Martine Bernard. Explore the wisdom of Louise Hay. Brought to you by New Thought Media Network. Dive into Louise's teachings. Experience healing and empowerment. Reverend Martine shares insights. Connect with a contemporary audience. Unlock your potential. Transform your life with love. Embrace positivity and healing. Join our vibrant community. Ready to join us? Let's spread love and wisdom together. Please like, share, and subscribe. Only on New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Are you passionate about media, storytelling, and making a difference? Welcome to New Thought Media Network, where your voice matters. We amplify diverse voices and share impactful stories. Join us in our mission. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to creativity and community, looking for enthusiastic volunteers who want to be part of something bigger. Learn, grow, and collaborate in various aspects of media production. Incredible support and camaraderie await you here. Your contributions will help us create powerful content that resonates with audiences and drives social change.
Ready to make a difference? Visit our website www.ntmedia.org to learn more about volunteer opportunities and how you can get involved.
Find our volunteer inquiry under the Engage tab on our website, or visit www.ntmedia.org/volunteer. We look forward to connecting with you soon.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents The High Vibe Hour. The High Vibe Hour with Reverend Cynthia and Reverend Skip. Fridays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on New Thought Media Network.
And with Reverend Julie officially. Yay.
Yay!
Yay. Welcome back, everyone, to the High Vibe Hour here at the New Thought Media Network. And we're so grateful that you have said yes, whether you are watching live right now or you're going to watch later on. We get thousands of views throughout the week, and there's so many shows here to New Thought Media Network to help you for your evolution and your awakening, your aha moments. Check them all out. Go through all our videos and see what we're doing here. We're talking about the inner child shadow work today. And of course, what we like to do on the second half of our show is to give you some processes to get you to that point that you want to be. One of the things, Reverend Julie, I was saying to Reverend Cynthia when we started the show, I was like, we have a lot of teachers, New Thought teachers and spiritual teachers that say, you need to be here, 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 here. And they never teach us how to get to here, here, here. And that's what we want to do here now. So you want to start off with your process?
Yeah, I really love this work. I am very much a tools and practices kind of a person. And I like exactly what you just said. I want to know what is step one, what's step two, what's step three. And so I like making things really simple and doable. And as I shared in the first part of the hour, I did a redo on my birth experience, and I charged it up because our subconscious mind, which is the control center for our entire being, it cannot discern the difference between a real event or an imagined event. And so if we go through this process together and you imagine getting what you needed but maybe didn't get, or getting more of what you needed early on in life, then your cells, your nervous system begins to, it kind of recalibrates and realigns to be the kind of person that had that sort of beginning or upbringing. And so then it starts to re-navigate the people, places, and circumstances that are drawn to you and that you are drawn to, right? Like if I don't heal, my daddy stuff or my mommy stuff or whatever the things are, I'm going to keep attracting partners or neighbors or bosses that have that same, whatever the parenting thing or the sibling thing is. So this is a way to start kind of cleaning up some of that stuff so that we choose newly, right? And so as I mentioned in the first part, I did a whole redo on my birth experience, and I gave myself a kind of birth experience that felt extremely empowering, bringing in having shaman and mystics like give me massive activations right upon birth. And so no matter how wonderful, how challenging, or if you know nothing or think nothing about what it was like when you came through, I'm going to invite you to maybe pump up or completely redo your birth experience in a way that elevates your purpose and passion in this lifetime. And so if you're not driving or operating equipment, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. If you are, you can listen to this. And I definitely recommend going back through and going through these practices that Rev Skip and I are offering up when you can be in a really deeply relaxed state. So for now, if you're not driving or operating equipment, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Take a nice fresh breath in. Exhale, let something go. Just let it go. You could pick it up later if you need to, but maybe shake something out. Just like release something in this moment through consciousness, through deciding to. And I'm going to invite you to imagine, see, sense, visualize, pretend as though you are in your favorite place in nature. The kind of place where you feel so good. Like what works for you? Mountains, valleys, oceans, deserts, beaches, rolling hills. What's the perfect time of season to be there? Are you a summer person? Are you spring, winter, fall? Day, night, dawn, dusk. Imagine, see, sense, visualize, pretend being in your favorite place in nature, perfect time of day, perfect season. Take some nice, easy breaths and imagine you're in this completely comfortable reclining chair where your whole body is supported, well held. And then imagine, no matter what you know or don't know about your birth experience, what's incredible right now is that we can access the subconscious mind. We can access the imagination and give yourself something thrilling. We can be adding to or completely redo. So imagine that moment when you are first brought into this world and you can give acknowledgement or honoring or gratitude to those that were present, if you'd like to. And then no matter if you're being held in the arms of somebody, if you're in a bassinet or if you're someplace else, imagine you could call in the most fierce, badass, for your highest good, ride or die counsel. Like these are the seen and unseen ones, the angels, the guides, the mystics. And whether you believe in this stuff or not, for whatever reason, you're here today and I'm here today. So if you're willing, imagine, pretend that there is this counsel that is gathered round you, that was assigned before you came into this lifetime. They will be with you throughout this lifetime and you will debrief with them after. And they are here for you to become fully realized in this lifetime, fully activated in this lifetime. So you can have them outstretch their hands, their hearts through their hands or their wings, and just sending you waves of love that you have everything you need, all the strength, all the courage, all the willingness, all the wholeness, all the health, all the prosperity, all the resources, like everything you need, letting them infuse you with it to go the distance in this lifetime. You did not come here to clock in and clock out. You wouldn't be on this show if you did. You came here knowing that there were going to be challenges. You came here knowing that there would be things that would be so rough that would like take you to your knees. But there's some part of you that wants to go the distance in this lifetime. There's some part that wants transformation, revelation, full activation, full awakening. And so allow yourself to receive on a neuro-emotional level through the nervous system, through the emotions, through the cells. Just imagine it could be like light being infused into you. It could be like electricity, that your whole central nervous system is lit up, fully activated, fully equipped to handle whatever comes your way in this lifetime, receiving it fully into your nervous system. And as you receive it fully in, now just begin to imagine, feel how good it feels, decide to feel how good it feels, decide to feel how powerful it feels, to decide to feel that no matter what the childhood is like, you've got this team with you. You've got your gang, you've got your support, you've got your crew, and they walk every step of the way with you. And then imagine how this recalibrates things. So even when you have challenges, even when you feel like you are at your knees and cannot go on, you've got this team with you. Beloved, 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 rise. Take a break if you need to, but beloved, we're going the distance. You called us in. Do not waste this counsel. And so imagine, as you just kind of fast forward through your lifetime, that through every challenge, you have never faced it alone. Through every challenge, there's this team here that is for your ultimate good, your greatest growth, your greatest progress in this lifetime for full activation and awakening. And they've been with you every step of the way. Now become aware of what else is possible as a result of you making it to and through everything you've been through. What's possible when you're walking with this kind of a crew? What is possible for you? And get a hit, get a feeling tone. We're just tapping in for a moment today. Get a hit and a feeling tone of yourself fully realized as a result of having this counsel with you, this wise counsel with you. What else is possible? You know, streaming to millions of people, teaching things that make a difference, shining your light, teaching, elevating, healing, nurturing, loving, supporting. You fully realize, get an image, get a visual in your mind's eye of you, full tilt, all in, wholeness, health, prosperity, abundance, love, connection, awakening. Get a really, really bright, vivid image. Take a full deep breath and hold it. Tune up the volume, tune up the intensity on that image, made it so bright, so compelling. And exhale. One more time, get an image of you, full tilt, all in, fully living your life. Now get images of all those beings. It can be Isis, it can be Jesus, it can be Buddha. Who are the people all around supporting, guiding, loving, nurturing? Hold your breath and just fine tune. Make it so bright, so clear, so bright, so clear. Exhale. Take a moment of gratitude. Be grateful. Know that I established something this day. Let yourself know I established something this day in my nervous system, in my neural pathways that allows me to be new, that allows me the choice to choose newly. Wash yourself over with gratitude. Think of several things you're grateful for again. And know we're just getting started. This is a taste. We're going to be doing workshops and retreats and opportunities to dive so deep in the richness of these kinds of practices. Feel so grateful, so well held. And gently come back into your awareness of this now moment. Kind of shake things out a little bit. Yeah.
That was beautiful. Wow.
Quick dive in, huh?
Quick dive in. And please share in the feed. What were you experiencing? What were some of the feelings? What came up for you? For me, it was really, I saw my rebirthing. I saw me going through the womb. And I saw my posse, my spiritual posse around me holding space. And the words I heard is, you're amazing. You're going to do great things. You are empowered. I heard these words coming through. Then I felt it in my system. I felt it in my mind, in my heart, in my every cell, every neuron, every breath was filled with wellness. We have some people who are sharing in. Hey, Denise, I'm going to work with you in a moment on what you put in there. But let's see, D. Ray Owens, thank you for the hearts. You say yummy, thank you. D. Ray, thank you. Beautiful. Powerful stuff. Powerful. I love the actual idea that we can take everything that we thought that was us and we can shift it energetically.
And the thing is, because our subconscious mind doesn't discern between a real event or imagined event. Like I used to do these seminars and we would have people imagine getting a great big overripe lemon and cutting into it and juice spurts everywhere. And imagine you like put it in your mouth and go, and people's mouths would salivate, right? So the subconscious mind doesn't discern between real and imagined. And when you imagine what you desire with strong feeling tone, it has a literal translation into action within our lives and what we create.
Hey, Denise is it's amazing. Denise is one of our followers of the show since day one. Actually, Denise is one of our members at North Hollywood Church of Religious Science. And she writes something in there, and I'm going to choose this to do. I'm going to work with you on this, on the speaking to the shadow self with this. And Denise writes, I've been struggling with my dyslexia. First of all, it's not yours, but we can say your experience of dyslexia. I've been struggling with my dyslexia and spelling at work. And here I go and do it now. And my inner child is feeling rejected. So I really love what you're saying. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to work on that because I experience severe dyslexia as well. I've experienced dyslexia all my life. And I remember a time where I remember a teacher saying, "What's wrong with you?" I was in first grade. And I remember saying, "What's wrong with you? Why can't you spell the word the? That's the. You're calling it here. That's not here." And in my mind, I was having a different way I was taking it in. From that point on, I would hear teachers tell me, "You're stupid. What's wrong with you? Why can't you read? Your writing is atrocious. F, 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 F." And this was it. So I'm going to work with Denise because I'm going to work with myself. And Denise and everyone, if you're willing, I want you to take into your mind and your consciousness and your mind's eye, maybe a time. It doesn't have to be with anything with spelling or an experience of dyslexia or whatever you have felt like you were less than. It could be something with your finances. It could be something with your relationships. And right now we're going to use the experience of dyslexia and communication. I'm going to say communication because that's what spelling and reading is the way we communicate with our experience of myself and Denise. And again, go ahead and close your eyes if you want to, if you can, or lower your gaze down to your heart unless you're driving or operating heavy machinery. I want you to take a moment right now. I want you to bring this experience into your consciousness. And I want to repeat again, these are experiences. This is not who you are. You do not own this dis-ease, this space that you have felt less than. You do not own that experience. And in this shadow work experience, I invite you to begin in a space of willingness. Your willingness to see it without giving it judgment of good and bad, just giving yourself this open space, this open feeling. I want you to recognize this experience as something that has come to heal you or to reveal love. And I want you to journey into your memory a time when you very first felt this way, this experience, this situation. And mine is being first grader in school, not being able to spell the word the teacher lashing out at me in anger because I could not get this word. I remember it so clearly, it's in my mind. And I want you to identify, how are you feeling in that moment with your experience? What are you feeling? In my experience, I'm feeling unworthy, that I'm wrong, not good enough. I felt like I could never be anything. I felt I was wrong because I could not spell. And I want you to recognize that feeling tone, that energy, that thought, that subconscious energy that we carry for the rest of our life. Identify it. Now, I want you to take a moment and give it some space. Just give a breath. From your heart chakra, the energy of the love and kindness and compassion, you can even see it as a color green. I want you to see this love energy moving from your heart that's surrounding the situation that you have brought into your consciousness, the incident, the memory. I want you to begin to recognize unconditional love that's surrounding this experience. I want you to breathe into it. I want you to begin to be willing to shift this experience from less than to gratitude for the opportunity for growth, gratitude for the identification of a root, lower vibrational energy that you might have been carrying, shifting into gratitude because it is now beginning to transmute itself, the energy shifting. Continue to breathe deep into this situation. I want you to reshift your thinking around this. For me, I've always been good enough. I am enough. I am one with divine intelligence, therefore it is within me. It has always been within me. I want you to recognize in this situation, whatever it is, was an opportunity for you to rise up, to be who you are meant to be. And as we are shifting this energy, I want you to give some love to it as it rises up within us, as it feels different. And I want you to invite yourself to feel the shift. What does that situation feel like now? How does it feel now to be in a new light, new energy? And we end this short process with speaking the words of thank you. I am free. I am moving into a new experience. I am grateful. Let's take a breath. Exhale. Slowly open up your eyes, come back into the space, into this room. I love what you did before. You said shake it off. So we get to shake it off. We get to shake it off.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Thank you. And it felt good to have the opportunity to come up with like a new affirmation. So I just want to make sure before we move on that as you're listening to this, what's the new thing that's true that you could just decide? What came up for me is that I'm enough as is. I don't need to perform. I don't need to do tricks. I don't need to have, like these things like just because I breathe, because you were born, you are enough. So I definitely want to invite you to make a decision before we close out. We're closing out in a couple of minutes. Like, what is the truth that you can decide right now? I'm making that decision. Like, I'm enough as is. period.
Absolutely. Hey, Liz, yes, it's going to live on my page. It's going to live on the New Thought Media page. We said this in the beginning. You can always come back and watch a replay of any show. I want to acknowledge Jewel Hazel walking on the beach, no shoes. You felt grounded.
Beautiful.
Oh my goodness. And Phoenix is on with us. Jules, okay. You felt Jules. Okay. I get that. As well.
Welcome. Yeah, I have my folks on Facebook that are streaming in. So thank you.
I love
And
this.
looks like it'll be on my page too. So
it will. Okay, so Phoenix, do you know Phoenix?
I think I do.
Okay. We're gonna get to know all y'all together. Thank you so much for really being a part of this. Before we leave out of here, we always do something we call the Vibe Insight. This is the time that we get to really talk about what are we leaving here and what do you feel like we can implement into our life right now. And for me, this insight is that I'm gonna go back to what's coming up over and over again. This is an ongoing process. And especially when you have things that's happening in your life that's bringing up these old memories, I get a chance to drop right into my inner child, love my inner child, to re-qualify. I can go through the shadow work. When was the first time I ever felt this? And really do the work and be willing to do the work. And it brings so much joy. So I'm going to implement to do this, not letting it fester, but do the work around it. That's my Vibe Insight.
Love it.
What is yours?
So mine, this is so big for me right now, is to be very mindful of when I abandon myself. And what I mean by that is when I say yes when I mean no, or no when I mean yes, or I go along with something that I don't really want to, or it's all those subtle ways of denying the self. And everything I'm about, I want to be focused on earnestness and sincerity. And so I'm going to be very mindful of when it feels easier to abandon myself so I don't make waves, and to do everything I can to, stay in myself and make choices from that place, of sticking with myself, which is sticking with that inner child, with that little me, so that, my core self knows, like, I got you and I'm trustworthy to myself. So I invite everybody listening to make that choice of what's your high vibe insight? What are you taking away with you that you can be working with and cultivating over the course of this next week?
Absolutely. I love this. I love being with you. I walked away. It's like, yes, this is so good. So good. Reverend Cynthia will be back with us in 2 weeks when we're coming back live. Remember, mark your calendars. The next 2 weeks, we're going to have a replay of some other older episodes of myself and Reverend Cynthia. But if you want to get in touch with Reverend Cynthia, I invite you to go to her website, is cynthiaambries.org. And if you want to find out more of what I'm doing, you can go to skipjennings.com. And if you want to know more about Reverend Julie, go to juliemoret.com. And on Instagram, what are you, Reverend Julie?
Rev Julie Moret. I'd love for you to follow me along on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I'm going to do better at getting over to Facebook more, but where I'm most showing up these days. And I like doing a lot of live practices and tools. So I look forward to seeing you on Instagram.
I love that. And you can follow me as Rev Skip Jennings on all of the social media. Everywhere. But you know what's so funny? I was on my TikTok. I hadn't been on TikTok for quite some time, some months, and it was a message saying, I wish you would do some more TikTok videos. So maybe I'll get back into it. I had to take a break from it. And then Reverend Cynthia Ambries is I think it's Cynthia Ambries Counseling on Instagram. So we're all on the social media. Please follow us. And like we said, Reverend Cynthia, she's out in Bali right now having the time of her life. Follow her on social media, see what she's doing. And if you're interested in going to Bali with me, y'all, I have a Bali trip that's coming up. And the Bali trip is going to be in March 14th through the 27th. And in August, August 24th, we're having an information Sunday, August 24th, 5 p.m. Find out more information. We already have 7 people that have signed up. Listen, these spots are going to go very, very quickly. And if you want more information, hit me up, DM me about going to Bali. It's going to be really super amazing. Reverend Julie, tell us about Agape.
Agape International Spiritual Center?
Yes.
Yeah, founded and directed by Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. You can check us out there. And if you want to tithe from our time here, you can always tithe to Agape International Spiritual Center, and just let them know it was from this show.
Yeah, I love it. And you can also help, and you can follow Reverend Cynthia when she comes back. She is at the CSL in Las Vegas. It's the Las Vegas CSL Center for Spiritual Living. I am at the North Hollywood Church of Religious Science. You can go to NHCRS, find out about the Wednesday Wake Up, our Wednesday service that we do every single Wednesday. And remember, this is a ministry, so if you want to donate to the New Thought Media Network, you can go to ntmedia.org/donate. These times go by so quickly. Good luck with everything that you're doing with your kids this weekend. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I know she's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So I'm blessing it. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Remember, we'll be back in 2 weeks, and stay tuned. Great things are coming. Peace and blessings, everyone. And namaste. Namaste.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents The High Vibe Hour. The High Vibe Hour with Reverend Cynthia and Reverend Skip. Fridays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on New